So, I said 5, 4,
That was a joke at that budget meeting.
so we're seeing.
The budget meeting, were you here right there? All we did was discuss it up here and Becky.
This meeting is called to order.
Oh, yeah.
Certification of compliance with open meeting laws. Is the door unlocked?
Yes.
Roll call.
Kyle,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Bradsett,
Here.
and May, clerk is here.
Approved minutes from September 8th, September 15th, September 17th meetings.
I had one change and it was just Dave Annick's name was misspelled. That was
Which meeting?
for the one on the
15th,
8th.
on the 8th.
It's A-N-I-C-H, not Keith.
I think I did correct it earlier today.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 8th, September 15th, and September 17th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from September 8th, September 15th, and September 17th. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Treasurer's report.
Okay. Start out with, in the funds, the general fund has $23,056.15. The tax account has $2,097.33. The LGIP has $114,274.41. The airport has $34,564.60. The LGIP EMS fund has $2.62. The LGIP airport has 55 cents in it. And spent a lot of hours getting the books balanced. The tax fund and the general fund are balanced with the bank and reconciled with the computer, so everything is the same now. Probably in excess of 100 errors in there. I give you all a sheet like this for you to look at.
Yep.
Some things that wanted you to know. I highlighted in this sheet here. There's, I highlighted in yellow the first one there. It's a general journal entry from April 10th, and it has minus $1.196 million entry on it. I'm not sure. This entry we know was made after August 22nd, because if you look at the second page, this is the August 22nd profit and loss detail. It's not there. And also you see all these other entries in there that are not there on the 22nd. And if you look at the third page, I've got mine upside down, but that's the breakdown of what was in that entry. Someone has went in and redone these. We're not sure what the point of it was, because some of these are over our total budget taxes that we collected. The $3.8 million one was for schools. $834,000 was for tech schools. On the other side, the $1.028 million. I don't recall what that was for right offhand. It's taxes. No, it's under the accounts. It's 11,500 taxes received. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. And if you go to the next page, the one highlighted in yellow is another general journal entry. This is under Wendy Dunbar's name. Someone reclassed this to a paycheck for her. That was not a paycheck for her. That was a check that she wrote in January, I believe, to cover some taxes and things because you weren't here to co-sign the check with her.
Okay.
So she wrote a personal check, and that was reimbursement for her, and that was changed after. It was also changed after the 22nd of August to show that it was a paycheck for her. And the next page has the This is the profit and loss detail from August 22nd, and it's not there at that time. So it was changed somewhere between that time and August 28th when she turned the computer over to us. And the next one, haven't got too much detail on this one. It says it's an opening balance of $946,100. Haven't figured that one out yet, but I will get it. There's some, the first two, I just want to let you know that these first two did not affect the check account, but they did affect our profit and loss statement. Because when we looked at the profit and loss statement, it said we were under $114,000 on budget. And as far as the money that we spent, the checks that were written, 79, I sent you that sheet there, 79.96 for We Energies. That was for the building. 54.81 We Energies for the street lights. 6,332 and 50 cents for Northwest Service for road mowing. $1,134 for Northwest Services for pothole repair. $70.10 to Jefferson County Clerk for voting supplies, and half of that was for something that Wendy had picked up in for the August election, but she hadn't paid for it yet. $1,000 we sent to the Village of Palmyra rec donation. $66.27 for the Village of Palmyra voting notice ads. The next one should be $200. I didn't get my dollar sign on there. It's not $4,200. It's $200 for the Palmyra Eagle Community Band. $320.63. That was to me. I paid for an ad for it was for quotes for your road work out here, and I wrote a check for it because we didn't have approval to pay it, so I wrote a personal check for it. That saved us $50 by me doing that. And the WTA training, I wrote a check for that. That was $130 in office supplies. On the receipt, if you want to look at it, it was like $10 and something I spent on office supplies. Some of it was for voting, I believe. $369.40 was for Larry's salary. $1154.37 is my salary. $747.89 was a check for the third quarter IRS payroll taxes. $36,187.52 for Wolf Paving for Tamac Road and Carmen Trail repairs. $1,000 to the Friends of the Library. $100 to the American Legion donation. $75.30.96 was for advanced disposal. That's an electronic withdrawal out of our paycheck, so there's no check number there. $38.57 was Jefferson County Treasurer for the MFL County portion. $200 M&E Tree Service for Blue Spring Lake Zion Road tree trimming. $3,075 was road appraisals. And I made a note on there for you guys that the bill was actually $23.75. There was a check back in April that was written, and it was short at $700. I mean, it was written right on where you write the numbers, but where you write it out, instead of saying 4,000 or 47.50, it said 4,050. So the bank cashed it for 4,050, and I added that $700 to that one. And I did talk to them about it, so they're aware of what's going on. I believe that's the treasurer's report.
Do we have invoices for the money paid to Park and Rec? Do you have invoices for Park and Rec?
Sent to you.
To who?
Yeah. You mailed out last week?
I haven't had any mail in the mailbox for the last 3 days, so maybe the post office hasn't got it in there yet.
You mailed them last week?
Okay, you sent invoice or a receipt for 4,000 and one for 1,000?
Here, it's all on one,
Okay.
1,000 and the 4,000 paid, whatever the date was.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Bill, I would also like to put on your approval list here this Zion Road work
Yeah?
for Coots.
The $3,900 one?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will get that check ready.
I make a motion to approve
Oh, okay.
the treasurer's report.
Second, and then can we have discussion?
Yeah.
Are you keeping track of all the stuff that we did not get back from Monday?
We are, yes.
Okay, so we have.
It's coming slowly.
Yeah.
We are getting a list.
Okay, I think it's worth doing it as, and I guess we'll never get an answer to it, but I'd like to know who was messing around with the accounts after she resigned.
Well, if you want, I can take it in and some tech expert can check that and tell you exactly when they were made. I don't know if that would be helpful or not, but we know they were done between the 22nd and the 28th of August, but that's because that's when she turned the computer over to us.
Well, we can approve the report, and I can make a motion about that.
Well, let's approve the treasurer's report first.
Yep.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the treasurer's report. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion that Bill takes the computer in and we'll find out when those entries were made and if they were made from a computer that's, back to the computer, they were made from it, that's tied to our computer.
Okay?
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to have Bill take the computer in and see where certain entries were made
And when,
between what dates?
22nd and 28th.
22nd, 28th of August.
Is that when she turned the stuff in here?
On the 28th,
On the
yes.
20th, okay. I don't know where that'll get us. I don't know that it would do any good to know who did it. It's been done.
Well, my only thought is that if we are missing a lot of stuff, which we seem to be missing, it would go to the fact of if she tries to say she turned it in and we know she didn't turn it in, it
Okay.
establishes credibility.
Okay.
Especially if she was allowing somebody else to enter things in the books instead of herself.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. Emergency management plan?
You're going to get this in dribs and drabs on your emails, so watch your email for it because it's long.
Okay.
It's sections. And mostly it's not very interesting.
Is it something that Bill can print out as it comes and keep a copy of it for the town?
He won't need to keep a copy of the draft, you just review it as it comes and make
When the
comments.
real-
And when the real one comes, yes, then we print it off.
Okay.
Well, if you want, rather than trying to print it all off and keep printing it, I can save it into a file
Yeah, that's probably the best thing.
and save on paper.
Yeah.
It really needs a word. That's what I'm doing on my computer.
Okay.
Fire department?
Well, I went today and had a nice visit with Dave Turner and saw the fire engines. It's getting clean and look and everything. I was a little bit surprised when he said that they had sold the ambulance, that white one, I think it's the Ford, and they had purchased a new one. And when I was down there, they were in the process of taking the stuff out of the white one and putting it into the new ambulance. I was kind of surprised that we hadn't heard anything about this, and I asked him explicitly if that ambulance was half ours, and he said, yes, it was. And I said, well, don't we need to sign off on the title? And he said, no, Lori takes care of all that. So this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I called the DMV, and the DMV says it would depend on how it was titled as to whether they could do that or not. But when I asked, well, what are the options, the lady said she didn't know. So I will call back tomorrow with a VIN number and find out. I also called Steve Nass's office and asked Mike Nicholson to kind of do a little investigating as to how this kind of thing should be working, and he said it sounded very, very strange to him, so we will find out. The tanker, which is the one that they wrote us the letter about, and there's no title for it, and I'm convinced.
The tanker's the one that has no title.
The tanker has no title, and that's the one that they would like for us to pay 50% of the bonding on.
Which is 1,800 for 50%, isn't it 3,600 for the bond?
Yeah, I think it's 36 for the bond, okay?
And they want us to pay half.
They want us to pay half of it. I think we need to, before we send money over to them, we need to find out how to properly title this so that they can't sell it without our approval. because without that tanker, we fall into a totally different insurance bracket for fire insurance out here in the town. That's our only source of water. The village has hydrants. They don't need a tanker. They just need a pumper. We need a pumper tanker out of the tanker, or we don't, there's no way to bring water to us. So it makes perfectly good sense to me that the thing should probably be titled. It never got titled in the first place. It was somebody's oversight. I think what happened was it was purchased about 2 months or less after it was delivered. The company went out of business, they went bankrupt, and for some reason they never issued a title on that. So it's licensed. I asked him where the license came from, and he said he didn't have any idea.
It has a license.
A license plate on
It
it.
got licensed without a title.
That's what they're telling us. So
Did Dave say there was like a November 1st deadline, he wanted us to act on this?
He said that, and I talked to NASA's office, and I also talked to the DMV, and the lady in the research library at the DMV said, there's no written in stone thing. She said, you just throw it back in the file, and when you send the information in, we fish it out of the file. So there's no reason for, there's no reason that we have to do this tonight, according to the DMV.
Okay, I was just
According
curious.
to Dave, there is, he'd like to
Curious
get
to
it
see
done.
what the insurance policy says. If they're insuring it and it has a license, on what basis they insured it
I don't
without
know.
a VIN
I
number.
don't think they asked him that. But the issue is.
Someone should look at the insurance policy.
Good luck. And also told him that we would really appreciate it if somebody would come and give us a report every month. And he said that he would talk to Marshall about it, but he didn't think Marshall wanted to do that. And I assured him that nobody here was going to beat Mr. Marshall up. It's not our intention. We would simply like to know what we're paying for. And so he said maybe he would talk to him, and he might come, and he might wait till after the election and see if we have a new board that he can come and talk to. So I don't have any hope that we're gonna get a report. The report we got from them lists the number of firefighters, and he's absolutely right. This thing we got a while back, 12 certified firefighters, 16 certified emergency medical techs, and 3 individuals currently in school. We have no idea if there's cross-certification. We don't know how many total they have. So I asked him if we could have that, and he just said that we were, it's not a condition of the contract, and I said, I realize that, but we would like to have it.
So why would they be hiding something then?
I
It would
have,
appear to be hiding anyway.
I have no idea, but he just said it's not part of the contract, and that years ago, they did it that way with the volunteers because they didn't want firefighters being harassed. That was what he said, so I don't know. We had a very pleasant conversation. I think he thought so too. But I guess if we want these things, we have to submit an open records request. I didn't ask him if that was the process, but I think that we should be entitled to that if we do, so. I don't know how else to get it if anybody cares to have it.
Okay. Well, what's the bottom line on the tanker then? What, you're gonna contact NASA's office? We're not gonna pay the $1,800
And then get a title.
until we can go through other avenues to try and get the title.
Well, I don't think we'll get the
See what we
title. I
have to
think
do.
we're gonna have to pay the $1,800, but I want to be absolutely certain that the title is titled in such a way that they can't sell it without our
If we're
knowing
paying
it.
the money, we need to have the title on our name at least.
Well, and it needs to be in both names.
Well, all of the fire equipment was supposed to be titled, and retitled
Did we
to
get
town and
those
village.
titles?
No,
Do we have them?
I think we paid to have,
We
we
paid?
paid to have them transferred.
Well, they're not in, you have gotten them. My guess is they were sent to Wendy, that'd be my guess.
Well, I'll call Wendy and ask her, otherwise our fire representative should call Dave and ask him about
Oh, I can get
getting
copies of them.
copies of the titles,
I
see
can-
how they're titled.
Yeah, in fact, I thought I'd go down to the village hall tomorrow morning and just ask Lori Dignity.
See if you
I'm
can get
sure she
copies.
will, she's not
Yeah,
very busy.
because they were supposed to be retitled, and we paid to have them retitled, so I don't know how they could sell the ambulance without.
Well,
just-
according to the DMV.
They traded it on a new one?
No, they sold it for $8,000.
They bought a new one though? We didn't have to pay for that.
No, that's their equipment, but the, this,
Well,
the fact that they sold it.
the ambulance they sold us half the town's.
Exactly.
Right, it had our name on the title.
So
Supposedly,
I'm not sure how you transfer a title if both title holders don't sign off, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Okay, all right.
So I would suggest we put this on hold, and
Okay.
I'm not opposed to paying for half of it. We just have to be sure that when the title is done,
Right.
we have some
If
rights
we're gonna
in
pay
title.
the $1,800, we need to have a title.
If I could say something
You
here?
can.
I think the way it's worded, if it says the township and the village, then both have to sign it. If it says or in the middle, then only one has to sign it.
And the letter that we got from Dave back last September, and I think there's a copy in the file, I think I read that, says that he would be getting titles in the name of the town and the village. So I want to be sure it was actually done that way.
Okay.
So I'll find out all that tomorrow if I didn't have time for today.
So there's no November 1st deadline that we have to pay back,
I'll
correct?
call the DMV.
Okay, okay, thank you. That's it?
I guess that's it.
Airport.
We got the building going along pretty good, we got the concrete all poured for the base. We started paving the taxiway today, and we got rained out, so I'm working on the leases. I hope to have them done by next month. I'm not sure when the building's gonna be here. They said sometime in November, so
Okay.
as soon as I get the leases drawn up, I'll give each one of you a copy so you can look it over.
If they have the cement poured, they can pretty much put that up?
Yeah, they can
anytime.
put the building up tomorrow if they had to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so, not right now.
Okay. So they have they're pouring the taxiway?
Yeah, they started doing that today, and they got rained out.
They have the building poured though? Is the building
The
poured?
building's all poured,
Okay.
yeah.
Blue Spring Lake?
the only thing, they did get the road swept finally, and the stones were put up by the compost site, and they were hauled away, and I believe Dick was happy with that, so that was the only thing I had from Blue Spring Lake.
Building inspector, do you have anything? Okay. Highway?
We got the drain tile put in under Zion Road. The county is going to redo that part of the road then. They're gonna tear up 80 feet and regrade it, and then overlay a total of approximately 400 feet. We got the shoulder on Carlin Trail. I had the county put some of their ground up asphalt. Maybe that'll hold better than that gravel did. And I'll have to get the road swept off. And the county put in that culvert that failed on Piper Road. And they hadn't sealed it when I talked to them last, but they might have that done by now.
You mean seal the end of it?
Yeah, seal the end with concrete.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Correspondence? Do you have any?
A little bit.
Okay.
Let's see, that was last month. We got two Frontier Tile and Closing Companies asked for information on lots about whatever information, the tax information and stuff. Somebody's looking at purchasing those two lots over there. And we got one here. This is to the town of Palmyra, all of us. And it says, "Dear Ed, Town of Palmyra Road Committee members, we would like to thank you very much for making the repaving of Carlin Trail happen. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. All who paved it. Best wishes, Scott and Donna Griffith. Scott and David or Donna, I can't remember.
Donnie.
Dondi? Okay. And Department of Transportation Investment sent us a check for $20,137.97. That was received on the, I don't see the date here, but it was last week we received it.
The revenue sharing?
Yes, for the revenue sharing for roads. And Village of Palmyra sent us a letter. The new cost for the fire protection is going to be $83,853.54 for next year. And they comes out to just a little under $21,000 a quarter. And then the other letter they sent was the one that you just mentioned about how many firefighters and emergency technicians we have. And this is this was sent into them. It's a anyways, we ended up getting $103. It looks like from the Wisconsin Department of Administration. Municipal services payments for services provided, and the only one that we have would be the fire. We don't do police or solid waste. So we got sometime we'll get $103 out of that. And the Jefferson County Board. This is the Clean Sweep program that the lady was here last week talking about. I received this in the mail. And then I received some zoning information here. Ed and Colleen Dion are building another deck out on their campsite. David and Ashley Sincula, I think is pronounced, are building a 1,800 square feet. I believe this is a garage they're building on their property. And Dennis Adsit is building a storage shed, 746 square feet. Thomas Thaney and Susan Thaney are building a new kitchen and bathroom on their addition onto their house. And the last one is Richard and Barbara Nather are building a, was it 3 seasons? They're building it's a screened-in porch is what they're building. And that's all.
New business, discussion and action for a request for clerk treasurer to pay usual and customary bills without board approval. Discussion.
I think that because that has to be a resolution, if a bill were to come up like he had with that ad, he could call the board members and poll us to get approval, rather than him writing a check himself, and we could revisit that after the first of the year. And then he would just mention it at the next meeting like he does with the other checks he writes.
Okay.
That would be my opinion. No,
No,
that's just my opinion.
Right.
I don't think we should do anything with it right now, leave it the way it is.
Okay. You can just poll the board for approval,
Right.
say, to it, and I sign a check for it.
Right.
Discussion and action on 911 joint powers agreement with Jefferson County. The Sheriff's Department sent a joint powers agreement to be signed. It has to do with if the ambulance goes out and it's out of our area, we are obligated to take care of it. And so it's just a thing that we signed to agree with the county that if someone is just over our boundary, we will take care of an emergency. So I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the 9/11 joint powers agreement with the county.
Second that.
It's been moved and second to sign and send back the 911 joint powers agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Discussion and action file for discussion and action on a complaint about noise violations in the town of Palmyra.
Since we don't have any law enforcement in the town, but rather use the sheriff, I talked to the sheriff's department about this, and the proper thing is for the person with the complaint to file a complaint with the sheriff's department. If there's a big ruckus going on, they can call the sheriff to come out. But if the sheriff's deputy or whoever comes out doesn't witness it, there's really nothing they can do about it unless somebody files a complaint. If they do file a complaint, then they can go ahead and investigate. I guess there have been some people who've expressed some concern about filing a complaint themselves because they felt like there might be retribution, but I kind of think they're going to have to step up to the plate. If they get no action that way, they can certainly come to us and we can...
Can the board file a complaint?
Yeah, but it's not, if we don't witness it,
Okay,
it's probably not something we can do,
okay.
according to the sheriff's department.
But they can file a complaint.
Any individual can file a complaint. If they've got a whole ruckus going on next door, it's disturbing the peace, they can certainly call the sheriff and file a complaint. And that would be the proper thing to do. So, it's not really board action, since the board has we have no law enforcement authority here. You know, we don't have a
We don't have a
constable
constable.
to send down, so it protects us.
But if, like, we witness this
Oh,
activity?
sure,
Okay,
we could, but,
okay,
If we witness it, we can file a complaint,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
same as
Exactly.
anybody else.
Exactly.
So anybody that witnesses, anybody in the vicinity, so 3 or 4 people could file complaints for the
Absolutely.
same infraction.
Absolutely.
That would probably be better.
That would be
Which-
far better. So. So I don't think there's any action that we can take on this.
Okay. Okay. Discussion and action to authorize payment for work performed by the deputy clerk.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to abstain myself from this conversation.
All right. I've been working with the deputy clerk with our books because we're of the opinion that they were being not done sufficiently. And Peggy Miller and I worked on them, mostly her, and she helped Bill organize the tax account and the other accounts and try to get, things straightened out. And so I'm going to suggest to the board that we reimburse her.
I would like to agree with you about that. I don't know where we'd be without Peggy having her banking experience and knowing what to look for in all of this. It's unreal, and I'm sure that Bill, she's been very helpful.
Indeed.
And I know Peggy spent hours and hours and hours on this, so I'm gonna suggest that we put her, I don't know how you say it's put on the payroll, but pay her monthly for her services.
Well,
At least
until-
until the first of the year.
How long do you think you're going to need help? Or is it pretty well done?
The books are done, we still have a few things to get straightened out in there, but right now I spend a lot of time on the election,
Okay.
and then after that, I guess we'll start working on the taxes. So after the first of the year, probably after the first of the year sometime.
Well, I guess what we should do is figure out when she started helping, and we'll figure out like so much per hour or month. We'll do an estimate of how much time she's put in, and then we'll come up with a figure. When she is done with this project.
Okay?
But as of now, I think we need to consider her an employee so she can be bonded. So,
Okay, well then, I'd make a motion to have her bonded.
second.
Okay. We'll have her bonded as till such time her services aren't needed.
And paid.
And she'll be paid. We will determine how much.
It's okay with me.
I'll work with Bill. We'll come up with a figure. I would suspect the majority of work has been done, hopefully, so far.
Hopefully.
Okay. Okay, we will come up with a figure from when Peggy first started, and I'll work with Bill on that. We'll come up with a figure for next month, and we'll have it on the agenda, and then we'll approve it, and then she will get an amount,
Okay.
and then she'll be paid until she's not needed anymore. Is that okay?
Mhm.
So we have a motion approved and voted.
Second.
It's seconded? Okay. Okay. It's been moved and seconded to reimburse the deputy clerk treasurer for the work. And I will work with Bill and we'll come up with a figure.
Okay?
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Someone want to call in?
Bathroom or room closet. No corner.
Discussion and action to change regular monthly meeting time from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock from November through April.
I make a motion to change it to 6 o'clock from November through April.
Okay,
I
so,
second it.
okay, it's been moved and seconded to change the meeting time to 6 o'clock from 7, from November, which will be next month, through April, which will cover till the May meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Set a date for budget workshop.
I would like to do it next Monday.
Next Monday?
For a workshop.
That should be fine.
What is that, the 20th?
The 20th, yeah.
20th?
And I don't care if we do it during the day sometime or at night.
I would really do it during the day.
I can do it any time on that day.
If my boss is okay, I'm okay with the day.
So you want to do it like at 10 in the morning on the morning?
That's fine.
10 o'clock?
It's good for you. And then I would your schedule, when are you leaving?
I am leaving on the, was it the 12th?
The 11th at 12th,
I'm leaving back on the 16th for
and then we'll be
3
back.
days, and then we'll be leaving.
Could we tentatively schedule the budget meeting for the electorate on that Saturday, the 8th?
Just December 8th?
November.
November 8th.
November 8th. We should be here November 8th.
Yeah, we're gonna be here.
Yeah, we'll be here. Yeah.
And because that one has to be posted 15 days ahead of time
It's maybe good to get it posted. pretty
and
quick.
in the paper.
Yeah.
We put it tentatively for that. If we have to change it, we can. We could still do that, change it next Monday if we had to for some reason.
Okay.
I think we should have it at school.
Okay.
Community center, it's called.
Yeah, at the high school.
Yeah.
I need to contact them?
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to contact, I'll call you with the number.
Okay.
You just gotta call me, you gotta pay $12 or something.
Okay.
Time to-
Probably 10 o'clock in the morning, late morning, something like that.
10 on November.
That won't disrupt the school?
No.
Oh, it's on a Saturday. Okay.
We need a motion for that. Motion for that. Okay. Okay, discussion and action, transfer money from the LJP.
I passed out this sheet to everybody, you should have that someplace.
Yep.
If you want to look at mine, I can look at theirs.
Dead ones.
The 23,000 is what we currently have in the bank, and the 15,848 is what's coming from highway funds. And that's a total of $38,902. And on the right side is all the things that we could think of that will be being paid out this month. I know this doesn't include any snow removal, but for October, we will be fine, and probably into November, maybe through November, but the total of money going out is $43,492, and that leaves us about $4,600 short for the year, not including any possible snow issues. And there's another, I think I did put that on there. So at this point, we probably won't need to move any, but maybe in November we can look at it a little closer, have a better look where we're at.
Discussion and action on application for bartender's license for Stacy.
She has not yet filled out her application for it. And I have nothing else because I've called her several times and she still hasn't come by to pick it up. So don't know where to go with that.
Tell her to bring it in November.
Okay.
Yeah.
discussion and action for insurance for the fire engine.
That's what we just talked about.
We talked about that already. WTA meeting,
Okay, on the 20, I believe it was the 23rd, Bill and I attended the fall workshop. And my end of it was the local IOH regulations. It's Act 377. And this is what the allowable limits are that we can set for any agricultural equipment. And agricultural equipment includes trucks that are not licensed as a regular road vehicle. They're just farm vehicles and they're just licensed. So these are the things we have to do. This has to be, we have to have a resolution to do this in December because it has to be in place by the 1st of the year. So we're gonna have a highway committee meeting before the December meeting with what we're gonna recommend. I called Bill Kern, and he called me back and left a message that the county isn't gonna act on it until the 1st of November. The end of October, 1st of November. So I'm gonna talk to him before we have our highway committee meeting. I think it makes sense to kind of work with the county unless they want a total opt-out where you have nothing. But I do want to talk to them first, see what they're doing, and possibly talk to a couple other local towns and see what they're doing in the area too. Most of these limits were set for the big manure haulers that carry 130,000 pounds. And none of this applies to that. So was at that Towns Association meeting we went to. They talked about it. I've been to 3 different meetings. The state has made this as difficult as possible for everybody. Farmers, municipalities, the state, because you could have a farmer that drives a mile and has to have 4 different permits. You could have a permit from the village, from the town, from the county, and from the state. And if you have to go from municipality to municipality, it could be a real mess. And if you have the most restrictive regulations, you have to find the farmers another way to get to where they're going. So, and it's only good for 1 year. And then they're gonna look at it again. So that was the main thing of mine. The other part that they talked about that was interesting was Robert's Rules of Order that we're supposed to follow was written for large groups of people in England, was where it first was originated. And it wasn't set up for small committees and boards like ours. They said, the instructor from the WTA said, we can be a lot less formal than the Robert's Rules of Order. And if you don't second something, but somebody starts discussing it, that's saying that you seconded it because it's worthy of discussion. So we don't have to be real strict about, and we did it better tonight how we discussed things ahead of time. They suggested doing that. Instead of making a motion, discuss it ahead of time, then you can make your motion the way you really want it. And then Bill had the rest of the meeting.
I know. Unfortunately, mine was on tax preparation. Tax collection, maybe that's a better word for it. It seems like it's going to be very involved, but the Department of Revenue has, on their website, has all these worksheets. If you have all your numbers and you put them in, it figures everything for you. So it should go fairly smoothly once we get the numbers. Of course, they didn't tell us how to get those numbers or where they're at. So. But we did go through Robert's Rules of Orders also. So, but that was a basic part of what I did. It was about 8 hours of going through tax papers and forms and filling out the form CT, which I believe is due sometime after the 1st of the year.
By the middle of April, I think.
Something like that, yeah. It shouldn't be that hard to do because by then we'll have a handle on everything that's going on here.
okay, that's it. Public comment? Nobody?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Meeting's adjourned.